Welcome to another edition of MIW. Glad you could join me here. And I'm going to continue today with the S.M.V, Sexual Market Value of Men and Women. So I found this other thing by a social scientist on the internet here, and we will go through that today. Sexual market value, a practical analysis. All studies are relative to who's giving them and taking them and what people they get their stats from. So you have to take each study with the understanding that people are biased. We all see through filters. Filters we have gained from society or culture or parents and different things that we have, environments we've been raised in since we've grown up. Now you say, well, yeah, statistics are correct. Well, that's true, but if you check statistics, like for example, on this thing that's going on that I won't mention because the YouTube doesn't want you to, the older people, if you take statistics among older people as compared to younger people, like between the ages of, I saw the other day, 5 and 19, none of them in that age group there's no fatalities in that age group. But if you take statistics from an older group, then there's a lot of fatalities. So with that being said, let's go. The sexual market value, S.M.V, is the personal value that everyone has in the sexual marketplace. And as I've said before, it's a world market now with social media. High S.M.V individuals can get high quality partners and or can more easily get a high number of partners. So all men are always wanting to know what they can do to get more women. The most important thing you can do is raise your sexual market value. How do you do that? Like they say on the Rule Zero podcast, money, muscles, and game. Money equates to status. Now you think, oh yeah, you say money, Mark, but these gold diggers, I don't want a gold digger. Well, if you want to look at it from that perspective, every woman is a gold digger. I mean, I'm a father of 5 boys, and I have a daughter, 13. I'll guarantee you, I want her to come home with a guy that's successful. If he's financially successful, great. If he's ambitious and he's going somewhere and he has success habits, that's just as good. He's going to get there. As opposed to a man who just hangs out, parties, drinks, smokes. He works at McDonald's. Maybe he doesn't work at all. He's a good-looking kid, right? But he's not doing anything. Who do you want your daughter to be with? So there you go, sexual market value. I encourage my boys not to marry. I encourage my daughter to marry. Because in the U.S., she has an advantage there. They marry, it's a disadvantage. It's an unconscionable contract, as Rollo Tomasi says, marriage for a man. Okay, understanding the concepts around the sexual market value is enlightening, and it will help you increase your own S.M.V. Unluckily, there's a lot of misunderstanding on this topic. Scientists have done great research, but have sometimes written with little appreciation for real-world sexual dynamics. Some dating coaches and red pill authors took over the popular discourse with their personal experiences and theories, but with little scientific knowledge and rigor. That may be true, I'm not sure. I know there's some grifters out there, but I know that the Rational Male, he actually studied a lot to get those stats, and he didn't just go by his own experience. Actually, he's been married for 24 years, Rollo Tomasi. That's not his real name, I don't think. But most of his is from maybe his personal experience when he's younger, but what he studied and surveys statistically is where he gets his information from. And he has friends and people who are actually out there in the real world. I find his stuff to be very true from my own experiences of trying to live what they call the blue pill life, the man, the steady, dependable, honest, hardworking, good husband. And I lived the life of the player or the gamer or the red pill in my earlier years. And I find what Rollo writes in his book to be very true. I recommend you read The Rational Male. It can help you very much to understand women. Sometimes people think that people who believe in the red pill philosophy hate women. It's not that at all. It's about giving women what they want. It's about giving women what they desire. Now, I'm here to tell you most women, if not 99.9% of them, don't know what really makes them attractive to a man. How many times have you heard from a woman or from a friend of yours where their wife or they told you, the man or the woman, the man, your friend told you, or your wife or girlfriend told you, I'm in love, but I'm just not, no, I love you, but I'm just not in love with you. It's not you, honey. It's me. Yes, it is her. You didn't raise her right. You didn't come in as a man and she lost attraction for you, or you stopped being the man that she met. I have done that, and they lose attraction. And if you ask them what's going on, they don't know. They don't understand. So never take advice from a woman about dating women, because they don't understand their own dynamics of sexual behavior, of attraction. There may be a few, but most don't. Okay. Red pill. Okay, the article fills the gap by bridging science and real world. Definition of sexual market value. The definitive dictionary of power dynamics defines sexual market value as sexual market value. S.M.V refers to an individual's mating value, and it's the sum of all resources, personal qualities, and fitness indicators in that process. In simpler terms, the sexual market value is an individual's level of attractiveness to the opposite sex, and it's equivalent to one's own dating power. Everyone wants a high S.M.V mate, but people's success in the social marketplace is highly linked to their own sexual market value, which contains their ability to mate as they truly wish to mate. Luckily, your S.M.V is malleable. You can shape it. It's formable, often highly malleable, and you can almost always increase it with well-directed effort, smart marketing, and good old personal self-development. Do the work. As Rich Cooper says, do the work. You can get in better shape. You can always improve your body. Get a nice haircut. Keep your beard trimmed. Walk straight. Make sure your posture is good. Sit up straight. Work on your finances, your business, your mission. Your goals should be first and foremost above anything, above women. I would say maybe not above your relationship with whatever you deem to be your higher power, higher self, God, divinity, universal intelligence. Always have a trust in something greater than yourself. At least that's my belief. But a man can only be as confident. You can only be as successful if you're confident in yourself too, in your own abilities. You have to be confident in yourself and your own abilities, but when things don't work out right, you have to trust that there's a higher intelligence that can see what you can't see. Now, I'll give you an example. Let's say you see this girl, you meet her, God, she's beautiful, you love her, you go out with her, you have a great time, okay, and you try to contact her again, and she's disappeared. You can't find her. You know she had a good time. It's not just your imagination. You've been with a lot of girls, you know. But no matter how hard you try, you cannot find this girl. She's nowhere to be found. She won't answer your messages. As far as you know, she dropped off the face of the earth. Now, you can go to the police and file a report. You could really go off the line there. And some people do crazy stuff like that. But that's when you have to trust that maybe, just maybe, there's something or someone or some power that can see the big picture that you can't see. Maybe this woman was involved with a high echelon cartel drug dealer. Maybe if you'd have continued your involvement with her, you might have got your throat cut one night. That's extreme, but you don't know. There's so many things that you can't see. So this is where it comes in when you don't get your way and you've done the footwork and done everything that is reasonable, that you got to accept that, oh, maybe there's a bigger plan, there's something better for me here, or maybe who knows what danger I'm being kept from. So don't force your will on this situation in outer circumstances. Your will should be used to maintain the positive thought that this is for your good and that there is something better for you, unless, maybe she'll show up sometime. But if she doesn't, you don't go searching and yearning for her. Besides, you met her one time, you don't know anything about her. Okay, it's just an example. It could be a million different other things. Maybe she's got HIV or herpes or something. Who knows? Okay. Okay, let's go on here. Yes, your S.M.V is malleable. Work on yourself. All right, where did I stop at here? Definition of sexual market value. Personal value. How S.M.V impacts mating efforts and partner's choice. Most people have an inherent understanding of their own S.M.V and usually target mates who are within a relatively narrow band within their own sexual market value. Okay, how S.M.V influences target selection. Players focus their efforts on mates around similar S.M.Vs. And it has a scale here, and I can't show it to you on the thing. Okay. Usually men tend to enlarge the scope of their mating efforts in short-term dating, especially by lowering standards. Don't lower your standards. Unless it's factually, realistically that you have to. You will be what you present and project yourself as. Some of the great Casanovas of all time, the descriptions of those men, they were ugly. One of them had a short leg and limped. And one, who was it? Voltaire? It might have been Voltaire said, if I can, talk her past my ugly face, I can bed any woman. Basically what he was saying was that he was ugly. But if he could get to talking to her, he could bypass that. So he had game. Game. Money, muscles, and game. If you got game, you could get by without the other two. But why get by without the other two when you can be most efficient having all three? Your life should not be about chasing tail and getting laid. When it becomes that, you don't have much of a life, really. That is why men sometimes have F-buddies with whom they don't want to be seen in public. They're good for sex, but not for official long-term girlfriends. These men are cool to pursue and meet them for a short term. Or these women are cool to pursue. I'm not quite sure what he means. But they don't think they are good enough for long term, such as they are too low S.M.V for them. Basically what he's saying is these F-buddies that they have, that's just what they are. They don't want to have anything long-term with them. I've had a couple of those, but they weren't ugly. I wouldn't be ashamed to be seen with them. One of them had a boyfriend. She would be with him and then come over and sleep with me. I wouldn't do that today, but at the time, I was in my 20s. It seemed okay. I guess my integrity has raised a little bit since then. But back then, getting laid was probably the most important thing on my mind. Okay. And when it comes to falling in love, people tend to fall in love harder when they pair up with higher S.M.V partners. It is the author's belief that love, in this case, serves to increase his efforts to keep the relationship going. The self-assessment of one's own sexual market value is a mix of self-esteem, confidence, sexual marketplace feedback, past sexual success or lack thereof, and of course, temporal and environmental variables, the competition and normal mood swings. Okay, I look at my sexual market value as a 10. Okay, you may say, oh, look at you, you're 60 years old, you think you're a 10? Well, it doesn't matter. I think I'm a 10. You are what you think you are. I take care of myself, I'm in good shape. As I say, I'll post a photo of, I got a six-pack, I'm in good shape, okay? I have two businesses. I have a book being published. I have 6 kids. That may knock me down a little bit, but They can take care of themselves. I'm not looking for a mother for my kids, all right? I'm doing fine by myself. Been doing that for 9 years, okay? But still, I don't think of that as a hindrance. So what I'm saying is, if you project yourself as a 10, even if you're ugly like Voltaire, if that was the guy, I'm not sure if it was him or Casanova. I've read books on quite a few of those guys. But that's something else. You need to read. You need to read, listen to Audible, constantly be improving yourself. One of the biggest problems with picking up girls or accomplishing anything in life is low confidence, lack of self-esteem, lack of self-worth. Do things that make you feel confident. Make a list of things that make you feel masculine and confident and do those things. Now, usually it's going to be something you're afraid of. Face these little fears because they are the termites that eat away at the foundation of your life, of your vision, of you having a life that you can feel good about, that you can look back on when it's time to go and say, you know what, I lived my life. I lived my life. So many people work at a place they don't like for years to work for retirement, and then they retire and they look back on their life and they think, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have done that. But you know what? It's too late. Well, at least in their mind, it's too late. I don't think about it like that. I think it's never too late to change, to be different. I don't want to say to be better because that indicates that you're not good enough. You're always good enough. You're right where you're supposed to be right now. From here right now, you can start to be something different. But you have to do something different. If you want what you've never had, you have to do what you've never done. And do it consistently, day in, day out, day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out. There are no overnight successes. You just don't know the whole story. Let me see. Course temple. Yeah, okay. Assortative mating in the S.M.V. Sexual marketplace. Each individual wants a mate with a higher S.M.V. But since every single individual does not want someone who is lower value than they are, there's a strong tendency for each player to match and mate with individuals of around the same overall value, assortative mating. Indeed, an individual's own S.M.V. is the best predictor of the types of mates he will pair up with, and that's especially true for long-term dating. Thus, the higher mate value an individual has, the more dating power he has. And a lot of that, you can do that yourself. If you're 6 foot tall, let's say you're 5'7", and you weigh 180 pounds, you're kind of fat, all right? I'm back. Had an interruption. Like I said, I got 6 kids. My 11-year-old boy was knocking at the door. I need to put a sign up. On the air. Okay, where was I? Thus, the higher mate value an individual has, the more dating power he has. I was saying that you can do something. Your sexual market value is malleable. You can, let's say, I said, you're what, 5'9", 5'7", you're 180 pounds, you're fat. You need to go to the gym and work out, okay? You can do something with that. I don't care if you're 40, 50, or 60, okay? You can get involved in your business or create a business or increase your income. Read, study, find out what's inside of you that's keeping you from being the man you want to be. If you have low self-confidence, do things that you're afraid of. Do things confident people do. Make a list, as I said, of things that you can do to make you feel more like a man, to make you feel more like you are valuable. Because nobody's going to value you unless you value yourself. So do things of value and make yourself feel more valuable by doing thus. It's simple. You can change your S.M.V. If you're a 3 now, you can raise it up to a 6 or an 8. I'm not sure, I can't see you, but you can raise your sexual market value much higher than what it is now. You want to be at your peak sexual market value always. Constant, consistency, Take care of yourself. Be aware of that. And this is not just about so girls will be attracted to you. This is about you feeling better about yourself, so you're okay whether you have a girl or whether you don't have a girl. I have no steady girlfriend now, and it's been over a year. I'm happy. I'm happy with, I'm happy without. It makes no difference to me. So when I approach a girl, or I have a girl meet me, or whatever I try to do, maybe she rejects me, doesn't matter. There's another one. I know it's not me. I know it's not, well, I'm too old. I'm too fat. I'm not successful. Oh, I've got 6 kids. No, these are all excuses for not being all you can be. Nobody cares about your excuses. Tate talks about that. Nobody cares. Excuses only matter to you. All they care about is results. Are you getting results? And really, that's all you should care about. An excuse is just an excuse for you to not do anything. Get off your butt and do something. You can do this. Only you can do your push-ups. I can't do them for you, all right? You want what you want. You got to want it bad enough to take the action to do it. Take the action. Do the work. Okay, I'm done preaching. Well, maybe we'll read just a little bit more. Sexual market value assessment. Let's make a deal. We will be honest with each other. Yeah. Women have a difficult time being honest because their idea of honesty, and I'm not saying they're liars, okay, their idea of honesty and what that means is different from what you and I think as men. Remember that. Women don't think like men. A woman will go out and cheat on her boyfriend, and she'll say, well, I really didn't cheat because I was drunk and it didn't mean anything. In their minds, they're not lying to you if they say they didn't cheat. Or here's one for you. They go out, they're at a party, they get drunk, they have sex with somebody, and they use a condom, but they don't use a condom with you. Well, it wasn't really sex because I used a condom, so it's not like I cheated on him. And I'll never see that guy again anyway. It was just for fun. I love my boyfriend. Seriously, women think these things, and this makes it okay in their head, all right? Or at least they try to make it okay in their head like that. So they can tell you they didn't cheat when they really did. Go figure. We will be honest with each other. And here is the honest truth. The sexual market value depends so much on the individual's traits and is often so highly context dependent that any chart plotting the sexual market value of a large group of people is a fool's errand and ludicrous. So yes, that chart you have seen with the male sexual value plotted along the variable of age adds little real information. Yeah, his chart was lower for the men than it was on the other one I've seen. And he's right there. It really depends on the person. I mean, if I were 60 years old and I weighed 200 pounds, went around with an old dirty t-shirt, I retired from McDonnell Douglas, or Boeing as it's called now, watched TV all day, would my sexual market value be the same as it is now? No. There you go. So it's variable. And once again, I said it's malleable. You can change that. That's something you have control over. But people demand it. They demand those kind of stats and articles. And articles look better than charts. So we will present a few simplified charts while addressing the biggest drawback of all other charts, the lack of differentiation between short-term and long-term dating. Male sexual market value formula, short-term. Looks matter for casual sex. Duh. Yeah, you think a woman wants to be with a fat, overweight, 300-pound man when she could have a man, let's say the same age, who's in shape, got six-pack, tall, good posture, sits up straight. I kind of slouch a little bit there. I have to watch that. I have to focus on my posture. I have a tendency to lean in a little bit. Okay, game takes the basic package you've got and seeks to maximize the presentation of oneself. Game is the equivalent of marketing in sales. Everyone engages in game. How many women say, I don't play games? No, in their mind they don't. Once again, women are not lying. They don't believe they play games, but they play games. Everybody plays games. If you don't know how to play the game, you're going to lose, end up with your heart broke. You're going to get zeroed out, maybe with a gun to your head. and off yourself. Happens all the time because you don't understand the dynamics of relationships with women. You have to understand your opponent, if you look at it that way. Or you have to understand women. Maybe opponent's a bad choice of words, but you get the drift. Conversation, personal style, nonverbal language, bonding and vibing with others, socialization. They're all game. And of course, mating intelligence, or what people usually refer to as game in seduction circles, is also game. And I'm going to tell you what, if you're sitting behind an Xbox or a computer watching porn all day, you're not going to have any game. You got to get out there and talk to people, all people. Be sociable with people. Just blurt crap out. I'm telling you what, people are dying for someone to talk to. And more than that, they're dying for someone to listen to them. Listen to people. Listen to what they're saying. You start the conversation, then listen. And you will be the center of attention. You'll walk away and they'll say, man, you're a great conversationist. I've never talked to anybody that's like you. I hear that all the time because I listen to people. I don't say too much. Well, I talk a lot, but I listen and I think about what they're saying. And as the conversation goes, I'll bring up something that they said maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes before, and I'll address it. So they know I'm really listening to them. I was in a conversation with a gentleman the other night, and he made a point. Okay, and then 15, 20 minutes later, I said, and I wanted to address what you said back then about this. And I related a personal experience of mine to his. So he knew I was listening. I was bringing up stuff that he said because as I was listening, I was not interrupting him. I wasn't sitting there thinking about the next thing I was going to say. Most people are just waiting for the other person to quit talking so they can speak. And people know that. Listen to what other people are saying. Pause before replying. And you may say, well, I'll never get a word in. That's okay. You'll walk away from that interaction. And even if there's other people there, you will be the center of attention because you're listening. Nobody cares as much what you got to say as what they got to say because they are the most important people in the world. Like Zig Ziglar said, everybody loves the radio station WIM. What's in it for me? Everybody wants to speak. I heard once a guy gave classes for speaking and listening. The speaking class filled up. Nobody came to the listening class. Listening is very, very important. All great leaders know how to listen. Okay. Conversation. Okay, man. Intelligence, seduction, game. Okay. Game works best in short-term dating, just as marketing and sales work best in selling the product. Once the sale has been done, the intrinsic qualities of the product tend to come to the fore, which is why game that revolves around true self-development is the best way of improving one's own S.M.V. for both short-term and long-term. Develop yourself and thus develop your game. When you feel confident in yourself, when you don't need a woman, when you don't need anybody other than the people who naturally come into your life and the people that you have to seek out for footwork for your business, you will naturally develop game because the confidence that you have will be it will be born from that confidence. And then you'll start talking to more people. How you feel about yourself is projected out from you. It's like the old saying, what you are speaks so loudly I can't hear what you're saying. It doesn't matter so much what you say as where it comes from. And where it comes from can be changed too. That's malleable. You can change your consciousness. You can change who you are. Think about it. At one time in your life, you had the consciousness of a baby. Another time, a 5-year-old. Another time, a 10-year-old. Another time, a teenager. Another time, a young man in your 20s. And on it goes. You were at a different thought process and a different consciousness Let's say you were a CEO at one time, you had that consciousness. Let's say you were a member of a board group, you had the consciousness of a board member. Let's say you were the president of a bank, you had the consciousness of that person. Okay? You can change that. You can choose that. The personality is malleable. The word personality comes from an old, I think it's a Greek word, persona, and it was meant a mask that they put on in the theaters. Well, you put on a certain mask when you're in certain groups of different people. You change personalities according to the group you're in. You don't act the same way at home with your wife or girlfriend or kids that you do at work. So you're changing the personality for the situation you're in. So just as you do that, you can change your personality to be the person you want to be with your willpower directed towards your thoughts and your actions. You have the power to change and become whoever you want to be. I've been many different people since my youth. Many different people. I was a Harley Davidson hardcore fighter, drinker, womanizer. I was a amateur and professional boxer. I was a triathlete. I was the good husband, good father. And I could go on and on. I was an English teacher. I was a business owner. I was a bed and breakfast owner. See, we relate these to who we are. We have the personality of that action that we take. We develop that unconsciously, but you can do it consciously and become whoever or whatever you want to be. Thank you. If you'd like to get my help personally, you can contact me at marksinspirationalguidance@gmail.com. Smash that like button and subscribe. Share this with a friend if you think it will be of value to them. And I will see you next time. Be cool.